Due to the potentially dark and frightening content of our investigations, this episode may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ghosts, spirits, demons. What are these entities? What do they want? And why are they here? My paranormal investigation crew's goal is to answer these questions and others like them.
Who are you?
Questions we've been asking for centuries.
Why are you here?
We've assembled a crew of the most dedicated enthusiasts in the area to capture evidence of these entities. What we find might be disturbing, dangerous even, but we are prepared for the journey ahead of us. The question is, are you prepared to take this journey with us? It's midnight. Follow me into the darkness, guided only by Midnight's Light. This is Midnight's Light Paranormal. The town of Metamora, Indiana, was platted in 1838 by David Mount and William Holland. It sprung up as a town that was built on the canal that eventually connected Lawrenceburg to Hagerstown. This led to many travelers and businesses arriving in the town. Metamora has been known for its capitalization of multiple means of transportation. Between the canal, train tracks, stagecoaches, and eventually motor cars, there was no struggle for people to come in and out of town freely. This presented a clear need for a hotel. There may have been no better candidate for a hotel at the time than the oldest building in town, now known as the Martindale House Tavern and Inn. The building was not always a hotel, though. It was built in 1838 by Ezekiel Tyner, who used it as a storage building and accounting room for his business as a canal tradesman. The building traded hands several times in the 1800s. Thomas Tague ran a tavern there from 1858 to 1870 when Amos Martindale bought the property. Martindale had an addition built on so that he could maintain a hotel, which he ran until 1895. Many stagecoach, train, and canal boat travelers stayed at the hotel. It was even known as a place where women came to give birth, due to its adjacency to Dr. Cupp's office. Today, the Martindale House operates as a tavern-style restaurant. It is also currently being restored to function as an inn where people can stay overnight and enjoy the historic atmosphere. With all of the travelers, the lives that began there, and the rich history, it comes as no surprise that the building has gained a reputation for its paranormal activity. Because of this activity, the current owner of the building, David Bowser, reached out to us in hopes of finding answers. We spoke with David about the building's history, as well as some of the paranormal experiences that have occurred there.
Tell me a little bit about this area.
Okay, we're in what was the office for the canal. Back in the 1830s, Tyner was the agent for the canal. So the canal boats would come in, and it was his job to keep track of what was on each boat, whether it was going south. So when it went south to Cincinnati, it would have, of course, hogs and hay and farm goods going south. When it came back north, it would have goods that were made in Cincinnati. So pipes and windows, that sort of thing came back north, and it was his job to keep track of all of it.
Okay.
So we still have the desk in here. The room that you come in when you enter the building is where they actually unloaded the boats, and it was a storeroom downstairs.
All right, so tell me a little bit about this room.
Okay, this room was known as the stagecoach room because Metamora is known for having different modes of transportation. First, the canal boat, then the train, and stagecoaches, and then now, of course, the modern cars and highway. But they would wait for the stagecoaches in this room. And so it's always been known as that. And we're currently restoring this area. But not a lot of activity that we felt or experienced in this part, although right where we were at the bottom of the steps, when we first bought the place, I went upstairs and I challenged the ghost. I said, I'm the new owner, and it was dark, and I said, this is your chance to get me, because, nothing happened. We came back downstairs and stood right at the bottom of the steps, and right above us, it sounded like somebody was dropping a dowel rod. And so I went back upstairs. My partner wouldn't go up because he was a little scared, so I went back up, and as soon as I stood on the actual floor upstairs, it quit, and we've never heard it since.
Okay.
One time I was here as a little grouchy, It's been about a year ago, and I went back up to the middle room again, and I challenged the ghost again and said, oh, well, I'm not really scared of you. And the feeling came over me. It felt almost cold, wet, and I almost got sick. And it was just a scary kind of feeling. It let me know that don't challenge it.
Yeah.
So I left and went home. We say good morning, we say good night sometimes, and just keep on their good side so we don't have any issues.
It's really cool when building owners communicate with their ghosts. I like to see that.
So just stay on their good side.
Yeah.
We then moved our interview to the second story.
Can you tell me a little bit of information about this area of the house?
Okay, this area is from 1838, and it was built by Tyners. So this was originally just part of the canal. They unloaded the boats below. We think this part up here at one time was like a loft. They probably had hay for horses and different things up here. Later on, of course, they built it in and made it rooms for men only to stay in.
Oh, okay.
Back in those days. So that's been pretty much rooms for rent, or it's been part of a hotel for this whole time.
Okay. Is there any paranormal experiences that have been in this area of the house?
Not that we know of, although the lady that lived here in the 1970s through the 1990s, she's had some experiences up in this room, and she saw a girl ghost. She woke up and the girl ghost was standing at the foot of her bed looking at her.
Oh, wow, that's
and
creepy.
sometimes it would sit in a chair, which was a wingback chair, which I bought later on when she after she passed. They had an auction, and I still have it, but have not brought it back down here. And I probably won't bring it back down here.
Yeah.
So this is known as a birthing room. All the local ladies, farm ladies would come here. They would have their babies here because the midwife was here in town, the doctor was right next door, and in case anything went wrong, and of course family could stay in rooms.
Yeah.
And it used to have a fireplace in here, was open, and it was the warmest room in the place, being in the middle. But there's been a lot of local babies through the 1800s were born right here in this room.
A lot of life brought in.
Yeah,
right here.
a lot of life. It's the office right now, and there's been times where I've been in here and looked back over my shoulder because I felt like somebody was in here with me.
Yeah.
And kind of like a shadow almost, you know.
As Dave was explaining his experiences in this room, we noticed this orb appear on screen in broad daylight. Later that day, David told us about two spirits that are said to haunt this building. One named Walter, who seems to enjoy playing tricks and hiding objects, as well as Ezekiel's daughter, Ellen, who is said to have returned after her death because she enjoyed her time here as a little girl. We also interviewed a current employee, Dirk, who has worked in the building for several years.
Have you experienced anything here paranormally?
When I was working in the back room, back there, in that back dining room, I had it all ripped out. And then we wasn't even cooking any food or nothing in here at that time. The place was actually kind of stuffed with junk. And the kitchen wasn't even up yet. And I smelled bacon and eggs cooking. One day I came in, it was a real strong odor of bacon and eggs. And I was like, okay. But then when I walked into this room, I got a woman's perfume, kind of a strong perfume smell from a woman. Now I heard through the gal next door that Maxine, that used to own this place back in the 70s and 80s, used to like to make bacon and eggs. And she's passed on now. So.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just thinking that she was maybe saying, my thinking is she was just saying something that she's liking what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because she's pleased that she knew me anyway when I first moved here.
Yeah.
So I met her, and I've been in here when she first had this place. She was kind of an old historian. She used to collect early American furniture and put it in here.
Oh, wow.
So she was really a historian. She really liked old stuff.
This place has a lot of antiques in it, which, that can hold, residual energy. So I can see this being a very active location with as much antiques are in here.
Okay, yeah.
Explain kind of what that is.
Residual energy is when life events happen, especially if they're really important life events, especially tragedy, that soaks the area with the energy of that event, and then that event is often replayed and replayed and replayed, you know what I mean, on a loop. So that's like a lot of hauntings aren't intelligent hauntings because you can't communicate because it's just an event from the past just happening over and over again.
Okay.
Like energy stuck in the loop.
Yeah, I see. Stuck in that area.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, I think sometimes I just don't really pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of overlook it. Now, there's a thing I'm always saying. There's something going on with my hammers. I've got 2 hammers. One's fiberglass and one's wood handled. My wood handled one always disappears and I can never find it for months, and then all of a sudden it shows back up. The fiberglass one they don't mess with. They don't want that hammer. It's yellow and bright, and I can find that all the time, but my wood hammer always seems to disappear.
That sounds like Walter. I've heard about Walter being a troublemaker that likes to take people's stuff and move it, and then you can't find it, and then you'll find it later. So you've experienced...
Oh, I've experienced that plenty of times.
Earlier that morning, we spoke to a local woman named Ava, or Granny, who lived here at one point. Unfortunately, we spoke with her during business hours, so we were unable to capture quality audio for an interview. We did feel that there was one story that she told us that we needed to tell because of its relevance to our investigation. She told us that when she was little, she heard that a young girl had lived there with her parents and had become sick. They planned on moving from the building, but their daughter begged them not to, for reasons unknown. Shortly after moving, the little girl passed away. Granny said that people have come across the street to her store to tell her that they have taken pictures of the Martindale house and that they captured the figure of a little girl up in the window. She also had multiple paranormal experiences in the house, such as hearing footsteps going up and down the stairs. We felt that these interviews provided us with great information on the building's history, as well as the paranormal experiences that have happened there. That is, everyone except our psychic medium Steve. Steve had been secluded from the rest of the group downtown. He had no prior knowledge of the location's history, the paranormal experiences, or even the people we interviewed. This was one of his most accurate readings to date. We were all blown away by the relevance of what he told us.
Okay, one thing that I wanted to say right off the bat, I don't know if we've ever had one like this before because, okay, so I'll start from the very beginning, but there's a lot of residual energy here from all the people that's come in and out. There's been transient spirits in and out that comes in with people, but here's where this is really unique. You have a spirit here that is a resident, like they're trapped here. It's a female. I think I have some names, and I think that name is Sarah. And then you have 2 other spirits that come in and out, and there's one female that that's like she feels like she has ownership of this building or whatever, and her name's either Ella or Ellen. And then there's Harvey, and then that he's in and out too, but he's distant. Walter, Zeke or Ezekiel. Or probably, Zeke is probably short for Ezekiel. So this Sarah, though, if that's her name, people see her here, or you can, especially like in your dreams, like you'll dream about her, or you'll see her as you're waking up, or before you go to sleep.
She woke up and the girl ghost was standing at the foot of her bed looking at her.
Oh, wow, that's creepy.
But here's kind of the other one, the Ella or Ellen. After she passed away, she was in and out of here and still is. And at one time, back, not way back, but sometime in this building's history, she was not happy about what was going on here, or somebody that was a resident here, or rented this place or whatever, and she's using words like an abomination or sacrilege. I don't know what that was, but like there was a criminal that may have been here or something. I don't know. I'm really compelled. Can we go upstairs? Can we do that? You guys will have to show me the way. Okay. Blood on the floor. Was there like a you can answer this, was there like a doctor or some kind of midwife? Wait a minute, I gotta write that down. It's like it was answering my question here.
I forgot until you said about the blood on the floor or something. There was a criminal here, and he performed illegal abortions. I don't know if that's what you're...
I bet you
that was the story that, and I completely forgot about it. I'm sorry, but when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, Granny told me about that.
I wonder if that's Ellen when her spirit was really ticked off about. I wonder if that's what it was.
Yeah. Literally, like the first, like all of the first names that you said.
We
Like
didn't know about a Sarah, but
Yeah.
now that every time I say it, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Steve's reading would prove to be even more impressive later that night during our investigation. We would like you to keep the name Sarah in the back of your mind.
What can I do for you, stranger?
Why should I hear this tavern has ghosts?
Well, we're actually having a paranormal investigation here tonight.
Early, unless I like something I'd like to be a part of.
I can make that happen, champ. What's your name?
Thomas Boots.
Since we're down an investigator, because Hayden's not with us tonight, I brought along my mother, Cheryl Sherberdecker. You ready to hunt some ghosts?
Let's do it!
As we normally do, we set up 8 stationary cameras around the building, in places that we believe to be hotspots, including one in the front tavern area, one in the back dining room, where we have placed a balloon to track possible movement, one in the birthing room, and one in the upstairs bedroom, where a female apparition has been seen. We decide to get things started by sending myself and Steve out for an initial sweep of the building using our spirit box.
Did you stay in this hotel? Who likes to stand at the foot of this bed?
To our surprise, we had no luck with our first spirit box session of the night. Steve and I then decide to ask Thomas to bring the Melmeter with him while I take full spectrum pictures of the building.
Give us a sign. You got a .1.
.1.
Yep.
Is it climbing at all?
It's solid .1. You can move the balloon. You can give us a sign. We would like to talk with you.
We then head upstairs to the back bedroom.
I feel a tingling on my head right here.
Okay, that is what I felt earlier, like a creepy crawly tingling thing.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I felt earlier.
Ears just got really warm.
Yep. So did mine.
Like really warm. Like
Yeah.
I can feel
Like-
the heat radiating off
Yeah.
of my ears onto the side of my head.
Yep.
My left ear specifically.
My left ear.
Is
not
it really?
Not my right ear at all. My left ear.
Yeah.
Yep. Same feeling.
That's weird. Alright. I'm gonna say something.
What?
First of all, is there anything on my neck? Like it's very hot.
No, but my left
It's
ear
not
is
red
still
at all?
warm.
Is it red?
No. Your ear's red.
Is it?
Yeah, your ear is
Is
really
my ear red? Is my ear really red? My left
your
ear?
ear is really red.
Is my
look
other
at my
ear
left.
red?
Look at my left ear.
No, your other ear isn't. But that
But
one
this
is.
one is? It's really
Look
hot.
at my ear. My same ear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then look at my
Red, too.
right ear.
Oh my
Stop.
gosh.
Yes, my left ear is on fire right now.
And so is yours.
Yeah. And
That
my
wasn't-
neck is right
Yeah,
here,
it wasn't
too.
joking. And I feel a little warm on my neck. My left side of my neck, right here.
Right here?
That's
Okay, look at me
exactly
right here.
like what the heck
Yeah,
is going
yeah.
on here?
It's super hot. Are you trying to whisper in my ear?
We found it strange that both Thomas and myself seemed to be affected by something in that bedroom. Upon returning to our tech base, we had the other members of the team feel our ears to observe the temperature difference.
My
left ear and then feel my right ear.
Yeah, feel mine. Feel my left ear. Feel my right ear.
What?
Oh, his is significant.
Yeah.
Really?
Mine's
Oh,
dry.
feel his ears. Yours
Feel
isn't
my-
as much.
feel my left ear?
Sage's is freezing cold on the other side and hot. Watch.
Oh my God.
Like his
Yeah.
is significant.
right?
Our next move was to send Steve and Cheryl out for an Ovilus session.
I don't know where I'm going. Opening sign.
Okay. If you're here, can you tell us what your name is?
Hell. Living. God, I just got weird, shivery feelings.
Did you?
Ugh, when that fish, when that hell came through, that just, ugh. I didn't like that.
As they moved to other parts of the building, something amazing happened back at Tech Base.
What happened in this room?
Oh my God. That door just opened. That door just opened.
They got pushed too. Like it wasn't, that door doesn't open easy.
This time, we got it on camera. You can tell that this was not caused by a draft in the room because the balloon remains completely still as the door opens. This was not caused by the door simply not being shut well enough either. You can tell this because there is a certain amount of light that peers through the top of the door even when it is completely shut. The same amount of light is showing just before the door opens as there is when we shut the door completely again. Keep in mind, we received the words opening and sign on the Ovilus earlier. Could the spirits have been telling us that they were going to open the door to give us a sign? Meanwhile, Steve and Cheryl continued their Ovilus session in the birthing room.
There was way too much. Script. Okay, poem, walk. There was a few other words that was going so. Ed. Barrel. Haze. No idea what this means.
Ed.
Is there somebody here with the name Ed? Remember eggs. Threat. Remember eggs. Threat.
And I smelled bacon and eggs cooking.
And I went back up to the middle room again, and I challenged the ghost again and said, oh, well, I'm not really scared of you.
I'm getting a super bad headache.
Are you really?
Oh my God. Yes. The top of my head hurts so bad.
And this is the room where Sage and Thomas got the...
Oh my God, my head hurts. Wow.
Are you doing that to her? Somebody?
Keep in mind, this is the exact same spot where I felt a tingling sensation on my head. It seems that something in this room has the ability to affect people physically. In fact, even David has been affected by this.
And I almost got sick.
At this point in the night, Thomas bravely volunteers to go up to the attic by himself to conduct a spirit box session. Now, normally during an investigation, we are all business, but occasionally we like to have a little fun as well, especially this guy.
He's creeping. He's creeping.
Other way, other way, other way.
Other way.
He's going the wrong way. I know he's creeping.
Oh my God, he's waiting for Devin. Oh my God.
Oh, screw you.
Just remember what they say about payback, Steve. Meanwhile, Thomas was just getting started in the attic.
Don't be afraid. Is Sarah or Ellen in here? Is anyone here with me? Is that you down there? What was that light down there in the attic? Was that you?
While this was happening, Camera 5 was picking up some strange cracking and movement noises, which continued even after Devin and Thomas met back up to take the spirit box session to other parts of the building.
What was that?
We even hear strange whining noises. We are unsure if this could be some sort of animal in the wall, or if it is truly paranormal. But if it is paranormal, could it be the residual energy of women in childbirth? After all, the birthing room is right through this doorway. Shortly after this, while we were taking a break, Camera 7 picked up another strange noise that sounded like a cough coming from within the room. Before moving on to another device, Devin and Steve decide to go into the front room one more time with the spirit box.
Oh, I just heard something. Oh, I just heard something. Did you hear that? Yeah.
My stomach is what? My stomach is what? Is there anybody here?
Whoa, that kind of sounded like Mark a little bit.
We were happy to have finally captured some evidence on the spirit box, but we knew it was time to move on to something else. Steve, Devin, and Thomas decide to go out with a couple devices at once. Steve takes the Ovilus 5, and Devin grabs the FLIR thermal imaging camera.
Found. What did we find? Them. We found them. So who did we find? So, this wedding dress. Sin.
To touch it, or?
There's shoes in there, too. This is a beautiful dress. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Sarah Tyner on it. What is that?
Sarah Meeks Tyner. Sarah.
Whoa.
As you can see, the tag on the inside of the dress clearly reads, Sarah Meeks Tyner. This dress was recently donated to the owner David. Up to this point, he may be unaware of this tag.
I didn't know about a Sarah, but
Yeah.
now that every time I say it, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
After our investigation, we conducted thorough research to find out just who Sarah was. We found out that she was actually the wife of Ezekiel Tyner, the original builder.
Unholy.
I said sin, unholy.
Elemental. Is that what Walter is? An elemental?
Oh, I'm getting chills, and something is touching. I feel like something's touching my lower right back right now.
Thomas, come on this side of me. Come on this side of me, the other side here.
Oh.
Yeah, my lower right back.
I'm getting it right in the center of my shoulder blades.
Like somebody was just rubbing their fingers.
Are you gonna touch me?
Here, let me lift up
Am
my
I being
shirt.
left out?
Sad.
What are you sad about?
What's up with this room?
I don't see anything.
Once again, something seems to be affecting both Devin and Steve physically in this room. You can see that when Steve starts to complain about pain between his shoulder blades, a strange string-like anomaly appears on screen.
Oh! What camera is that?
What's your story? David.
Dave.
Yeah.
What's your story, David? Okay.
You said David, so what's your story?
Are you happy that he's restoring this building? Because it was in such disrepair at the time that he bought it?
Notice the word sin, which we received earlier, is spelled S-Y-N-N. That is actually an Old English way to spell the word. The guys then move downstairs to the back dining room area.
When we go in the other room, if you could move that balloon, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Shortly after they leave this room, the balloon begins to rock back and forth on its own. It continues to do this for several seconds. And when the balloon stops moving, you can see this orb shoot out from the table. Take another look. We believe that there may be a poltergeist-like entity that resides in the building. Could this be Walter? Is he more of an elemental entity rather than someone who has lived on this earth in the past? The next device that we decide to try out is a fan favorite, the 3D camera.
Whoa, stop. I got something.
You got something? Oh, yeah, there is something right there. Okay, just put its arm down. Where is it mapping? I can't tell where it's mapping. It's on
in that doorway.
Yeah, it is.
If it's on your left, you need to turn right.
Can you wave to us?
This way?
Yep.
Can you wave to us?
At this time, unknowingly, the 3D camera's recording function stopped working. Luckily, David was filming the computer screen, so we are still able to see what happened.
Can you move your hand back, forth, back, forth? Yo, that's definitely doing back, forth. If that ain't back, forth, I don't know what it is. Holy gosh. You're doing so. What are you doing?
It looks like it was putting its arm up to its. Look, it looks like it's smoking. Like it's puffing a cigarette and pointing it away, and then putting it back towards his mouth.
Like to ash it, like to flick.
Like the not the arm that's crunched, but that one. Look at him, he just did it again.
Yeah, with that long arm.
Yeah.
Do you think that it could be residual?
It could be.
After the figure disappeared, Devin and I head down to the front room to finish up with the 3D camera, while Steve and Cheryl go back out for one last quick spirit box session.
Go to the left. Oh. It's to the right. It's to the right. Okay, something's standing on the table. What are you doing up there? Oh, that was really something giant. No, I've never seen this. Something giant on the screen right now.
That's great.
Not even like a mapped figure, but the other thing is still there. It looks like something is like, because I said, will you come out and present yourself, essentially?
Yeah.
And then something is, and it's like leaning away from it. Go to the right just a little bit. And this thing is like around it. Like almost like it's fighting it.
Meanwhile, upstairs.
What's that guy's name right there? Who is that? What is it? Oh, said something. What is it? Oh.
What is it? Oh.
Who is Ed? After all, we did get this name on the Ovilus 5 earlier.
What I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to know about you and learn about who you are and who you were and what you do. We learn these things and then we tell people so they can appreciate history.
That's why we're trying to talk to you.
What'd it say?
We were unable to determine what this voice is saying. What do you think?
These spirits do not like me here. I've never experienced this before. Usually something evil wouldn't like me, but I don't sense that these spirits are evil, but they do not like me. They do not like me here.
Huh.
After the figures disappeared and the responses stopped, we decided that it was a good time to end our investigation at the Martindale House Tavern and Inn. The spirits that dwell among the ornate decor and historical artifacts in the Martindale House Tavern and Inn are like an echo from a time long past. They relived their lives while ever so slightly brushing against ours.
Oh, I've experienced that plenty of times.
Were the spirits here hesitant to communicate, or were they being subdued by another entity?
And this thing is like around it. Like almost like it's fighting it.
Try as it may, some were still able to make their presence known.
I'm getting a super bad headache.
Are you really?
Oh my god. Yes, the top of my head hurts so bad.
We learned a great deal from this investigation. The spirits that we encountered communicated in many ways. There are still plenty of things that we do not know about their world.
I want to know about your life, what you used to do. It's interesting to me.
That is, until we ourselves pass through the veil and dwell within the afterlife.
For the latest news on Midnight's Light Paranormal, like us on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. All of these links can be accessed under the About tab on our YouTube channel.